Scott Cookie, why are we having a double packed episode this week? A double
You're gonna have to
hitter,
explain
double header.
double packed. Oh, it's because you put in 80 hours of work. Well, actually, you didn't. Underachiever. You put in like 79.5, but I'm assuming it's because you still haven't released the previous episode.
That is correct.
This one will be coming out shortly afterward.
It is March 18th, 2018. You're listening to Fancy Ramen, a podcast mostly about video games. This is episode 60. I'm Neil.
I'm Cookie.
And I'm Scott.
This is unedited, guys. Let's do it.
Unedited entirely. Yeah, so let's just get right into it. What have you guys been up to?
I saw Black Panther again on Saturday. And I can honestly say the second time I appreciated the soundtrack much more. Like I know me and Scott were both talking about the soundtrack, hearing it was going to be by Kung Fu Kenny, aka Kendrick Lamar. I was told myself, I thought this was going to be a lot more banging. But it turns out it's like a hidden banging. Just lots of hidden bangers. Like everything's kind of using the tribal African influences and like just the background music, and it's just awesome. Even when they're in China, there's still little bits of tribal in there.
Every time you say banger and banging, I'm just imagining sausages and bratwurst.
Why?
Because it's St. Patty's, or it was St. Patty's Day. And
Right, and the Irish are known for their German sausages.
They're bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash is UK, buddy.
Well, yes, but it's still a thing.
Yeah, and I guess associating Ireland with the UK is not always the best take.
Right, but
so
if you
I've
go to
heard.
Brazenhead, which is an Irish pub, and if you go to any other Irish place, rest in peace, Clancy's or whatever, you're going to get bangers and mash. If not fish and chips, which is
You're
also an Irish thing. I mean, an English thing.
I guess that is mainly what I get when I do the Dire Lion food truck, is the bangers and mash.
Oh, you go to the Dire Line.
Yeah.
My friend Isaiah owns/runs it. I don't know if he actually owns it.
Nice.
He's the
Support your local Isaiahs.
he's He actually used to run, I think he still owns it, but he probably doesn't work there anymore. The diner in the basement of the West Building, or Lorica, as it may now be called, on 72nd and Dodge.
Really? See, no, I've never actually been to the Dire Lion. I've just had their food truck several times.
Yeah, I think it's only a food truck right now.
Oh, well then that's perfect. Yeah, the company the company right below our 3 Exchange building, they have food trucks come like all the time when it's warm outside, and there's like 7 basically that just kind of cycle through every week.
That's pretty cool. We occasionally get some mediocre food. We one time had Dire Lion come over to a wedding planner a block away, and I made the trek over, and the fish and chips were pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good.
But yeah, besides seeing Black Panther again and appreciating a lot more of it the second time, because I could actually like focus on like little details, we also threw a party last night that just evolved into a very drunk musical night. Lots of bad guitar playing and drumming and singing and rapping. It was awful.
Those are honestly the best, though.
Yeah.
Are they the best?
It was awful in just all the right ways.
Did anyone like try and do the whole douchebag acoustic guitar singer-songwriter bit?
Who played Wonderwall?
And did someone have to shut him down real fast?
No one played Wonderwall. We do have one of my friends does play guitar, but it was more bluegrass.
bluegrass is fine. I just don't want someone serenading about how they've never experienced love or are heartbroken. Like the polar opposites there turn out to be the worst thing.
Oh, yeah, no. My only actual singer-songwriter friend was not there, and his songs aren't really like that.
Because
If you
he's
ever
in
get
a
a chance-
happy and loving relationship, right?
He is in a happy and loving relationship. I just adore his girlfriend. She's pretty much like a more free-spirited version of Lizzie,
Mm.
which is kind of weird. But either way, if you have a chance, they're called the Cosmic Smiths. Good band. Anyway, what you been up to, Scott?
I bought a water bottle that I'm sort of disappointed in. I know this isn't the most exciting news, but I have had a pretty uninteresting week. I had this really shitty like cyclist water bottle for I don't know, since I started college, and I could not replace it because I couldn't find a water bottle that I liked. It had some sort of seal over like the cap. So I bought this Camelback that's also supposed to be like vacuum sealed, and so it has like thermos qualities where it can keep cold things cold and hot things hot. It's got a little magnetic locking top. And so I was really excited for it. And then the past 2 times I put ice cubes in it, they're like gone by the time I go to drink from it next. And so I'm waiting to find out that this is actually a reverse vacuum seal in which I put cold things in and they warm up, and I put hot things in and they cool down really fast. It's just kind of a crappy water bottle, and it's the only thing that's on my mind right now.
Well, if it really does have a
Otherwise-
reverse vacuum seal, then maybe like you've discovered new technology right here and now.
This manufacturer defect will actually improve space travel by like advance it by 10 years.
Like there's
Um,
no external energy needs to go into this product for it to warm up or cool down drinks. Your hot coffee is now iced coffee. Sans the ice.
I think that one technically is more viable in a thermodynamic way than putting in, say, cold water and having it return boiling. I guess that could be cool in a way.
They both have their purposes. You could put in like soiled water or like contaminated water and bring out fresh water after boiling it.
That's true, yeah.
Oh,
And then,
yeah, because all you'd have to do is take the boiling water and put it in a different cup.
Yeah.
With the reverse vacuum seal, and bam, now it's ice cold.
Exactly. You just need 2 of these bottles. Now, the question is whether or not the chances that you get another like defective bottle with this particular enhancement are high enough to even warrant placing another order. That's a whole another question.
I have some confidence that it might be. I was telling my dad about it, and he kind of laughed about it and said, well, and then he looked it up online after he asked me what the, like, I guess, make of the water bottle was. He was like, oh, these reviews are all really high. He's like, it's a 5-star review. I don't see what you're complaining about. And then we went further into detail, and we started reading some of the reviews, and the one at the top was a 1-star review, and I was like, what about this one? And it said, about as good of an insulator, or about as good of a thermos as a Quick Trip cup. And it was some guy talking shit. He's like, if I put ice into my styrofoam cup from Quick Trip and I put ice into this guy, I can tell you which one is going to melt first, and you would be surprised by the results, unless you read my review. So that was pretty great. But besides my shitty water bottle that I'm still kind of seesawing on whether I return it or not, I've been working on the campaign for my upcoming D&D groups that I will be DMing for, or GMing. I don't know what the proper lingo is, and that tells you how detail-oriented and rule specific I'm going to be. Yeah, how rule-focused I'm going to be playing D&D. But I'm looking forward to that. I've been putting a lot of work into this.
Check the food out.
And it should make for a very entertaining time. Actually, one of my players is the one and only Cookie Skimilk.
Hi, I am a player. I ain't a player, I just fuck a lot.
But yeah, I've just been looking forward to that. It's kind of kept me away from gaming. I actually came downstairs here to get on my computer for recording and saw that it was on and could not remember the last day I was actually downstairs on my computer. So needless to say, I haven't played any computer games. And I haven't booted up Into the Breach on my laptop. But for, I think, maybe 30 minutes of playing Kirby Star Allies.
Which I'm going to save you the trouble and say let's transition right into Kirby Star Allies.
Once again, we're skipping Neil's week. I feel bad.
The gist of it is I'm working a lot of hours, like more than normal even, and I'm having computer problems, and that's where we're at now.
Sounds like you could use the help of some friends, like Kirby and Kirby Star Allies.
If only my Star Allies knew how to get me a water cooler immediately. Now, yeah. Kirby Star Allies. It's coming out this week, if I'm not mistaken. And what we've played, I'm assuming all three of us.
Released?
What's that?
What's the release date on that?
Star Allies Kirby. March.
16th.
Actually,
Yeah, it already released.
it's
That's
already
what I thought.
out. Yikes.
What? Fake news.
Well, that might be something I pick up in the absence of a PC because I actually thoroughly enjoyed my time playing the Kirby Allies, the Kirby Star Allies demo.
Yeah, the demo was good. I enjoyed it a lot too.
This
did
makes
you
me feel
play with
cruddy.
Tiffany or did you just play on your own?
I played with Tiff, and my only lament was that there was not really a great way to screw her over or screw us over while playing the game.
Yeah,
You're just all about that co-op, Neil.
Well, it's just that like sometimes you need a comic relief moment when you're going up against a tough boss or something and you've like lost a few times. Sometimes you just have to sabotage the run, get the laughs out, then go in seriously.
You really liked New Super Mario Bros. U or whatever one that let you pick up your allies and throw them into pits in Mario. Did you play that one?
I did not play that one, but now that you've talked about that, I think we need to go visit that soon.
I'm surprised you didn't play that one. That was the ultimate just fuck everyone over game.
It truly was.
The Wii U catalog as a whole, like I've only kind of played like a few essential games and then a few games that I found particularly interesting, like Tokyo Mirage Session.
Oh, I think I
Tokyo
died.
Mirage Session? Yeah.
That was the Fire Emblem crossover thing?
With Shin Megami Tensei. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Ooh, Shin Megami Tensei?
Yeah, exactly. Kojima. So there are definitely a handful of games I need to go back and really give like a thorough playthrough of. Like I still need to play Skyward Sword for one. I know that's Wii, but you know. But yeah, Kirby Star Allies, the levels that they gave you two choices during the demo. I think it was like easy or normal and then hard. Neither of the levels seemed that difficult, so it kind of itched that whole sort of Yoshi's Island itch at being like a really well-made game that's not too difficult, but not hard at all to enjoy, at least for myself.
I was going to say Yoshi's Island is a hard game, in my opinion.
Really?
It can be. I mean, I am saying this as someone who beat those games, but I think in the later levels they get pretty difficult. And I remember most Kirby games never being particularly punishing. I like to think that most Kirby games are pretty easy in general.
See, maybe it's because the last Kirby game I really played seriously was on the Game Boy. And the only time I would play the Game Boy was like before the age of 11 and on car rides. But I found them to be like relatively challenging.
Yeah, I'll have to agree to disagree on that one. I didn't play. I don't know if I actually played any Game Boy Kirby games, so that might be it. I only played the console versions, and they were never punishingly hard in any capacity, in the same way that some Mario games can be, and even some of the like Yoshi titles, like Yoshi's Woolly World and whatnot, can sometimes have some difficult moments to them.
I'm kind of wondering if we played the same games. I know we played the same games, but like I guess I've always seen Yoshi's Island and Yoshi's Woolly World as, and then Yoshi's Island 64. Is that the title of the game on the
Yoshi's
N64?
Story?
Yoshi's Story?
Yoshi's
Okay.
Story.
I
I
kind
didn't
of
play Yoshi's Story very much, actually.
I felt those games were just like all very chill, sort of like I've been very stressed out or I've had a tough day. I'm just gonna play Yoshi and relax, I guess.
I'm guessing then that I have difficulty with those games.
Is it the throwing,
that-
the
that
aiming
might
that gets you off?
Be a personal flaw. No, not at all. I think sometimes the platforming is a little difficult if you're trying to I mean, if you're just trying to make it through a level, fine, but if you're trying to accomplish like collecting say all the red coins in Yoshi's Island, or like getting all the flowers and secrets in those games, I find that those can be quite challenging. While, say, Kirby Crystal Shards for the 64, you can 100% that game, and I can't name any besides like just keeping a power for a certain spot to get through. I don't remember anything being particularly tough about that game at all. But I will say there are hard Kirby games out there now that I think about it, because as much as I adore it, Kirby's Air Ride can be pretty tricky depending on what game mode you're doing.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Bring that back, Nintendo. That's actually the game I'd love to see rebooted more than anything else.
Well, so while we talk about some of the interesting mechanics of these games, I guess it may be topical to talk about some of the new features that Kirby Star Allies brings about.
Definitely. If you want to stay in the topic of like ease, the one thing I did notice is that Kirby is the only person with a health bar in that case, in that if the first player who plays Kirby falls in battle, then I guess you get reset to a checkpoint or you lose that life. I don't know how it works because I didn't ever die. But I know that if your allies die or fall, you can just friend new ones. Like, there's no punishment for a 2-player through 4-player getting defeated in battle.
Yeah.
They can just come back in.
The other allies too technically have health bars, but you're right that if they die, you can just find another one pretty easily. I also like the whole gimmick of being able to control your allies by jumping on top of them. So you don't have to consume someone to use their ability. You can recruit them and either let them function as an AI counterpart or jump on top of them, and then you are basically just playing as that character, except you can now jump off.
It's a nice touch to keep you from having to swap powers around all the time as Kirby.
And as a result too, like when you swap powers around, if you get rid of a power, there might not be another fire. I don't know any of these character names, so there might not be another like fire power enemy around or another sword enemy around. So you're kind of at the mercy of like what the level gives you. But if you recruit the monsters or the allies, I guess you could say, that you enjoy playing with and just keep them in your party, then you can just always rely on those powers. And there's definitely some sort of persistent allies that will carry through the levels, at least it seems like through the demo, because if you get done with the first level and play the second one, all of the allies you had in the first level will rejoin you.
Yep, I experienced that too.
Did you play it, Cookie?
So I downloaded it. I had all the intentions to play it, and then I did not.
I feel you. That happens.
But I'm excited to actually turn on my Switch probably Monday-ish.
I was really tempted to take my Switch to work just so I could play during lunch, but I decided against it, and
You didn't want to be the guy playing on his Nintendo at work?
I mean, no offense, Cookie. No, it's just that I decided I may as well just work through lunch at this point.
You're so American.
It's depressing.
Sad growing up, Neil.
Is it American or is it more like on the lines of Japanese? Because I think the Japanese work ethic is way better than the American work ethic. At least
Isn't the
what
American work
perception we
ethic
have.
also known around the world as being a little overzealous in productivity?
No, I think the American work ethic, at least, well, I guess as we perceive it, is we have 10 guys watching one person dig a hole in the road.
Makes sense, but we're also very much, as Americans, into feeling bad for only working 40 hours a week.
Really?
Just like the Japanese.
Some of us.
Yeah, who
I was about to say,
actually
I am
feels
also
that way?
not a part of that. Oh, God, I know a lot of like my coworkers. Those guys are just there all the fucking time.
Are they on
Like,
salary?
No.
Okay,
Even,
so
but
they
even
don't
the ones on
feel-
salary, though.
the explanation is they don't feel bad because they feel like they need to work harder for the company. They feel
And they're
bad
getting
because
paid
they're
for
not
the
getting
extra
overtime.
time.
It's all
Makes
about
sense.
it's all about that overtime. But they have the guys of like, man, I'm just such a hard worker. I should have worked more than 40 hours last week. I'm such a slacker.
I know some of those guys as well.
Overtime,
so weird.
baby.
I actively campaign for the Swedish work week, 6 hours a day. Nobody listens to me.
I will nominate you for president, Scott. Let's make this
Thank you.
happen.
All right, see, I don't even know if it matters, but I would argue if you were to take 6 hours a day, so you're at 30 hours for the week, right?
That's not right. Yeah, it is. Never
So-
mind, that's right. Well, hey, my math may not be great, but
But you'd still make a better president than Donald Trump.
well, my math would still be better. Yeah, so it would be a 30-hour work week, and I'm assuming like that's not counting. I'm assuming 6 hours of productivity. So like if you were to
Right.
take an hour lunch break, you could be at work for 7 hours, but you're only being productive for 6 of them.
Well, so I have always
still fine with
liked
this.
the schedule of working 10 hours a day, excuse me.
4 days a week. I hear a lot of people like that too.
Yeah. It's nice because then you actually have a weekday that you can do real things and not just go to work and leave work and go home and eat dinner.
If you have a 6-hour work week though, shave 2 hours off in either direction or 1 hour off of each end of your day and think about all the errands that you could run or things you could do with those extra hours.
I just don't know if like certain things would get done. Like I realized that in order to embrace that sort of change, a company would have to hire more people. So just thinking about my current production and workload, it's like if I don't work 50 hours a week on average, we don't get done. And in some cases, if I don't work 80 hours a week, we don't get done.
Neil, that
So-
sounds like a staffing problem for your work.
Yeah,
It's
I
definitely a
feel like
staffing problem. It's also
it's
just
a
a
mistake
problem of
made
like
by your business.
well, it's also just like that's how this particular industry runs, not without going into details, where if our customers, which are essentially states, if we have 3 states schedule one thing that really like we can't change or we can't tell them, why don't you schedule this some other time? It has to happen that day, that week, that whenever, that Tuesday. Hint, hint. Like we're kind of at the mercy of of only having X number of people that are quote unquote experts on those particular states. So Yeah, I don't even know. It's a pain in the ass. But over time, it's not really about working altruistically. It's about making money.
I don't need money that badly. I don't need money that badly at all.
Time is money to me.
I feel like I need to buy a new computer now, so that's kind of how I feel about money.
I've been preaching that to you for like a year now, Neil.
Yeah, you have. But like when it's not doing stupid things, this is kind of a pretty badass workhorse. A Xeon processor, 32
When its
gigs
legs
of RAM,
aren't broken, it runs pretty well.
a 980 Ti. So when I thought about it though, like it might actually be a little too pricey for me to just go and buy a new motherboard and CPU if like I'm frying the CPU right now.
You're assuming you get to keep all the other parts, right? Your graphics card will carry over, your power supply, stuff like that.
Yeah. So like part of me, like the irrational, illogical, emotional part of me is like, well, hold on, Neil. You'll be able to get this up and running with, pretty quickly or like down the road at some point. Not a big deal. Why not just buy that second computer you've been thinking about so you can use one when the other one's rendering video? And I think to myself, yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's really not a bad idea. No one's gonna like talk some logic into me.
I'm saying you buy a new computer. Good.
Let it happen, Neil. At least you're in the market where you don't need a graphics card. I have an uncle who's really been interested in building himself a gaming computer.
This is not the time.
And now is not the time. Yeah, I was talking to him at a family event today, and he was just like, I was looking at graphics cards, and they were 2.5 times the price the last time I saw them. Like he had a couple graphics cards that he was looking at, and thanks to those fucking Bitcoin miners. Sorry,
is it really that
showing.
bad if you were to buy a PC, like a pre-built?
I think if you buy a pre-built, you are going to be just fine on the pricing because those are more or less already integrated into those like finished product machines, and so there's no reason for that price for the graphics card to inflate. Nobody's buying those and then stripping the graphics cards out, so the demand is not there in the same way that it is for a like single graphics card like as the only item.
So maybe, just maybe, this is actually not a good time to build your own PC, but it's
maybe not
the
a bad
best time to buy a PC.
That's a fair point that I can't really argue with, but it's unfortunate that is the case.
So what if I were to tell you for $2,000 you could get an I already kind of talked myself out of it looking at the processor.
What if I told you, I have convinced myself against this point?
I'll read it anyways because it's still like not horrible, but it's an i7 770 or excuse me 7700, not the unlocked version, with a 1080 Ti and 16 gigs of RAM, a 256 gig solid state, and 1 terabyte hard drive, probably 5400 RPM. Nothing amazing there. For $2,000.
I can get you that same thing for 1,500.
You mean including the graphics card?
Let's see here. Sorry, I kind of just started Googling your
No, you're fine. We'll keep it entertaining because I'll talk about more computers. How about for the same price, essentially the same shit, except it's a 2 terabyte hard drive and a 7700K processor?
Oh, this one's got a 1070 in it. I'm sorry, I failed you.
Right, exactly. That 1080 Ti is a pretty expensive card when you get down to it,
and super desirable.
Think of all the crypto monies you're going to be mining Money and mining are only a few letters apart, guys.
I did the math. It's going to cost me more money to keep my computer running while mining than I would make mining.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. In case anyone hasn't listened to other podcasts, I think mining is probably a dead end unless you have a very specific rig for it.
Bitcoin mining and other cryptocurrencies is the only it's the only issue that I know can bring together like strong environmentalists and PC gamers in a way that they probably have never been inspired to hate a group before.
You know what though? There's
Nice.
And
man,
since I'm both, I feel on top right now. I feel validated in my anger.
and you feel validated that you can be both at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
gaming.
we were talking about video games.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Floor's
and
open. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I mentioned before we got off the thing last time that as Scott was excited about playing the Kirby All-Stars demo, I was excited about playing Terra on my PS4. And it turns out that was a thing that was just going on for the weekend. It was a beta test. So I got to play like an hour's worth of Terra on the PS4, and I was like, this game has changed significantly. So I promptly got on my computer the next day and re-downloaded Terra because I've got it on my PC. It's changed significantly. That's
Could you
all I've got for that.
describe some of those changes?
So like when you first get into the game of Terra, they used to drop you off on this island that was kind of like your tutorial island. This time they're like, nah, scratch that tutorial island. We're going to have like a legit story where there's things going on. I didn't bother reading any of that story because why? Why would I?
Sink or swim.
Exactly. So now I was testing out one of the new classes. They've got like, since its launch, they've got like 4 new classes and like one entire new race. There's a ninja class now, but I went with like this bruiser class that uses giant gauntlets. All in all, Terra, still a pretty interesting game. The gameplay, how it felt on the PS4 versus the PC, it had a lot more tells on the PS4. Like, I think they thought the console users were a little bit dumb because when you're playing Terra, it's an action MMORPG, so you've actually got to like dodge out of the way of attacks. So you can go up against like a max level monster at level 1 and still beat it. It may take you for fucking ever, but as long as you don't get hit, you're fine. And it's pretty easy not to get hit when you've got a quick dodgy character. On the PS4, it gave you like these giant red glowing boxes whenever an attack was about to come in to tell you exactly where the monster was going to hit. On the PC version, it says none of that. It's like, you better see that swing coming. But all in all, it was actually pretty fast-paced, pretty smooth. On the PlayStation 4 Pro, it was like medium to high settings, I guess, compared to the ultra settings on my PC. But smooth frame rate, really intuitive controls. There wasn't anything like, oh yeah, how am I supposed to do this or this? But I also had like 4 spells, so I'm not sure how like going into needing 15 hotkeys and 17 combo systems is going to work. But, you know, it's whatevs. Either way, I played some Terra this week. That was fun. That's
Is
me,
your
guys.
character a girl?
No.
Good for you, Cookie. Good for you.
What's that supposed to be about?
we just talked about how Terra was like very voluptuous and sexual, and when it came to its designs, not just for the women, mind you, also for the guys, but
Packing all the heat. Package. Penis. Okay. Anyway, this is what happens when you don't edit things.
yeah. Well,
We
Even
find out how
if-
unfunny all of us are.
if you
Do you
wanted
know
to
that
go
we have
in,
to workshop all of our jokes like 20 times before we even tell them?
if you guys want to come into the office and work for me, then I'll take the time to edit this week.
I don't think either of us are actually giving you crap for not editing. We understand your struggle.
I just
or-
imagine that you don't edit anyway.
That's what
See,
happens when
someone
you never
doesn't
listen to
appreciate
your
your
own
work
podcast.
anyway.
Yeah. Or if you replace the cooler on my computer, that would also be. I would also edit for that.
You can let me edit.
I could send it your way, actually.
I mean, I've got Audacity. What more do I need?
Just make sure like it's at negative 17 lufs, and we'll be fine.
Okay.
Is he making things up?
No, it's
I mean,
legitimately a
know.
loudness term. All right. So video games. I really haven't had too much time to get into the silver case, but I did start that. And you know what? I was going to say expect something to come of it next week, but then the thought just occurred to me that, yeah, maybe not. I did want to ask, though, Scott, you're going to be playing Oxenfree. Is that correct?
That's right. I know nothing about it except that I'm going to have 3 dialogue options, and then I'm going to go on an adventure with those 3 dialogue options.
Sometimes you only have 2, but yeah, it's
Oh.
basically like you have a very minimal dialogue wheel.
So it's Fallout 4, right? Yes, no,
funny enough,
sarcastic, yes.
I think it does a better job of telling the story and giving you choices within that story. It does
I
give
don't
you like
think-
a very specific character that you play as, though, whereas in Fallout and the other games, it's like you have the illusion of getting a very open character. You can either be black or white, old or young, man or woman, but at the end of the day, like you're the same dude no matter
You're
what.
either a jerk, a square, or an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind conundrum.
Do
yeah,
you really think that I don't want to go on a tangent, so I apologize for already interrupting and starting, like, laying the groundwork for a tangent. But do you really believe that Skyrim and those other games have the same kind of pitfalls as like Fallout 4 when it comes to dialogue?
Well, not the same pitfalls, but you're still just a dude that does things that has no character build up at all.
Okay, that makes sense to me. All right. I'll take a U-turn. Let's go back to what you were saying before that.
So Oxenfree, I've really like played around with the idea of having Cookie play through that game. I'm curious if this means I should just push to have him start it so he can talk, or play it so he can talk with you about the subject, abandon the idea of playing Oxenfree, or just have you not talk about it around Cookie. Because it definitely is the type of game that, like, once you know what the thing is about the game, I think its value kind of drops a bit. But I don't know. I kind of put it on a similar level to like Stanley Parable, which I'm assuming both of you have played.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, you are missing out. It is right
Wow.
up your alley, especially humor-wise. Think like playing Portal, but without the puzzles and all of the dialogue.
Wait, this sounds awesome.
Yeah,
It's-
I'm telling you, it's perfect for your sense of humor, Cookie. You'd love it.
I just played it a couple times through to make sure it would run on my MacBook in the event that we end up recording it with Buck. And like, even being 5 years out from its release, I think it has aged very well.
I'm still oh man, where is it? I'm still working on oh my gosh. I'm
the
trying to figure out what that
achievement, yeah.
achievement is. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still working on that achievement where you don't open the game for like 5 years. So I'm on like year 2, maybe. Go outside. Don't play the Stanley Parable for 5 years. Yeah, I'm still working on that. I'm on year 2, guys.
Wow.
Holy shit. Wait, what? No. This game, I forgot when this game came out. This game came out sometime in 2013, I believe.
Yeah.
It is.
Do you risk it? Do you risk it?
2018. Oh, guys, if this is my last year, if I make it to December, I get that achievement.
Why don't we talk about Stanley Parable so much that you feel like playing it now?
No, thank you. I gotta earn that. I've put in 4 years of work on this by not
4
doing
years
anything.
of not playing it and not working on it.
4 years of not work is technically work, right? If you're working hard to not do something, it's like I don't know if you ever took a psychology class in which they went over the concept that if you're told to forget something and you actively try and forget it, you can't.
Pink elephant?
Like the game.
My senior year, exactly like the game. Fuck you. My senior year of high school, we were told to forget the number 107. Never forgot it. Sadly, 107 has been imprinted in my brain and has no value whatsoever, but it's in there.
It's one shy of being like a significant number in Chinese folklore.
Or like a pin number at least.
108. Yeah, so Oxenfree. It's a good game. It's made by some people that used to be a part of Telltales, which that would usually mean a negative thing, but I kind of just want to illustrate that point that they have a decent background in narrative storytelling in creative ways. Not so creative now when you look at Telltales, but that's besides the point. My question, though, is that, like, Cookie, are you interested in playing an adventure choice-driven game?
Yeah, sure, I'm down with that. I've already got it downloaded on my PC, which kind of coincides with the news of the week.
Which, why don't we get into that right now?
Oh, are we opening the hot pot?
Yeah, except it sounded like a can of pop. Or
That's
soda,
like a...
or soda pop, or Coke. I want to be inclusive to all of our different American listeners.
It's also like some sort of weird rock sound that people make sometimes in like slow ballads. They'll go...
I don't recall this ever happening, but sure.
I know the exact song that does it. I'll play it for you later. Yeah, because I've been kind of in a hectic haze all day today. Our news section has been populated entirely by my two opposites in this podcast.
Has it been populated by both opposites? Scott, did you put anything in the news?
No, I haven't done anything. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm dropping the ball.
First up,
Yep.
Twitch Prime is offering free games starting March 15th. It's a new program similar to PlayStation Plus and Xbox Games with Gold, which grants Twitch Prime subscribers a selection of free games each month they can download and keep forever. That part is different from Xbox Gold and PlayStation Plus.
I think I can actually take credit for bringing this one up, but Neil is the one who wrote that excellent little bullet point.
I did not. I believe that might have been Cookie.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Been all
my
over
gosh.
all of it, right? Yeah. Putting in work.
Anyway, some of the games that Twitch has announced for this March 15th release date is Super Hot, which I'm pretty sure they already had available previously through Twitch Prime. And Oxenfree is probably those main two titles. And then Cookie, you were just looking at it, and I think you saw that there were some others as well.
Yes. So you recall me talking and playing Mr. Shifty. There's also Devil May Cry, the HD collection, Shadow Tactics, Blade something, Blades of the Shogun, and Tales from Candlekeep, Tomb of Annihilation. Dungeons and Dragons. Are
So
all the games.
Quite the mix. And I'm wondering how often these Twitch games are going to be much more on the indie game end versus the like AAA titles. I'm going to assume more on the indie game end for just about every release. Though
Yeah.
Super Hot's been a really popular title. And it's not triple A by any standards, but like these are pretty well sought after indie games.
You're probably right.
So that's something.
Oxenfree was just free from like another service recently too. So I don't know if that has a factor in any way, but that's something to note. While we're talking about Twitch, we had a little bit of a I don't even know what to call it, an event, a tremendous occasion with the greatest artist of all time, which is not Kanye, but Drake, who set records with his Fortnite stream with Ninja, the Fortnite streamer, in case you didn't know who Ninja was, because I knew. Scott knew.
I
Cookie
knew. I
knew.
was there.
We all knew who Ninja was.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was busy actually this week working on my Kanye Madness bracket and totally forgot that there are other good rappers. Or wait, I don't even know why I'm using good on the prefix for Drake. That there are other rappers in this world.
Yeah.
And seriously, if you haven't gotten on that, I don't know how much you listen to Kanye, either of you two. I'm going to assume from my conversations with Cookie that Cookie probably listens to as much Kanye as I do.
Fair assumption.
And Neil, you don't listen to music very much anymore because you've transcended that, right?
Yeah, I only listen to video game music now.
I'm really glad that Late Registration was also your favorite album. But anyway, the Kanye March Madness bracket is fucking amazing and absolutely worth your time if you like rap music, but especially Kanye. I spent an entire Friday night filling out my decisions, listening to each song over and over and over in the head-to-heads. You can find it on Twitter. That's all I had to say.
I like how this news briefing about Drake became Kanye just because I made a joke about Kanye.
Hey man, classic Drake getting upstaged by Kanye even in an indie podcast.
Is Drake even a rapper? Like, I thought he was just a singer.
He does more singing and like world music than other rappers.
Okay, let's think of it this way. Just because you rap, does that make you a rapper?
I don't know. Childish Gambino wasn't a rapper.
That's true. That's true. Especially like you listen to Awaken My Love, like that's not a rap album.
So,
but then again, okay, Kid Cudi is a rapper, right? But then he has I think it was Wizard, and Wizard was more or less his like crooning album. Actually, whatever his most recent album release was too, that was way more singing than rapping.
Let's set the ground rules for a second here. Shaquille O'Neal has released a rap album. Is Shaq a rapper?
Well, he was in an Aaron Carter song, so.
Cookie, your opinion?
My question is, does Shaq want to be a rapper? If so, then sure, why not? I'll give it to him.
Yeah, it's probably more the intention, right?
Yeah,
So okay, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here for a second, but so Childish Gambino, did he basically say that like he is quote unquote not a rapper?
He's got several songs on like several CDs that he's just like, I'm not a rapper.
So I think there was like apparently not a rapper, but a rapper that recently came out and said that he was not a rapper, and people were getting pissed at him for saying that.
I mean, what's funny about that is that there are mixtape albums by Childish Gambino, or I guess Donald Glover, titled "I Am Just a Rapper," back from 2010. So he's got to make up his mind.
But does he though? But does he?
I mean, he can be whatever he wants to be. I think we shouldn't limit people to our definitions of them. If Trump wants to be a president, he can be a president. You know, if Childish Gambino wants to be a rapper, he can, and so can Shaq. And if Drake wants to think he's a musician, he can think that too.
Damn.
I don't know if he's ever said that before, so don't let me like push that out there.
Oh, who knows? I'm just riffing at this point. I don't really care. But we can, if we want to move the topic forward, Drake had 635,000 concurrent viewers on his stream. And so he hasn't broken the all-time record, right?
Correct. The all-time record was held by E-League Major Boston in 2018 with over 1.1 million concurrent viewers.
He's only halfway below that. It wasn't Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg was doing some Twitch streaming. I wonder what his numbers were. I'd love to know that.
And it's also Travis Scott was also in this a part of the stream as well.
Okay.
But far less impressive.
What rapper would you guys want to play a video game with? And I'm going to say it's got to be something competitive. We're talking like we can have like one-on-one Street Fighter match with somebody, or it could be like PUBG and they're playing with you. But who would you invite to play?
Flavor Flav, League of Legends.
Holy shit. You did it. I don't know if I can beat that.
I was about to say, fucking, what's his name? Played Daigo in Street Fighter 5. Lupe Fiasco.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and he actually beat him in a set of 5. No, it was a set of 3, and he won. They were both very confused and surprised.
I didn't realize he beat him. I heard they had played, but...
No, yeah, he won that set.
Was it at an event, or was it just a match?
It was at an event. It wasn't like I don't think he was like officially in the tournament. I'm not 100% sure of like all the details of it, but I did watch the full set. It was very close. Like Daigo couldn't get a read on I almost said Drake, on Lupe the first round. So Lupe ended up winning. He freaked out, calmed himself down. Daigo ended up being Daigo. And then like the third round, after a little bit of coaching, was really, really close.
Okay, so Fiasco won the first and fourth game, while Umehara, i.e. Daigo, beat Fiasco in the second and third. The match ended highly climatically as both players had won 2 of the best of 5 and were tied as they went into the final round.
He's got details.
After Fiasco landed his final KO on Umehara, neither player seemed sure of what happened. Fiasco seemed confused as to what round the game was on until he was notified that the game was over. In an interview shortly after the match, Fiasco stated that he almost cried on stage, noting that winning against Umehara was a bucket list thing. When asked whether he wanted to compete in future fighting game tournaments, Fiasco stated, "I'm retiring. I'll take the win and run. I know when to get out."
I respect that move so much.
So when asked about the match by Kotaku, Daigo Umehara gave the following response. "I would like to congratulate Fiasco on his victory last night, but let's say that you can eagerly await a rematch. The crowd warmly welcomed us and was so excited. I thought it was a great run. Lupe gifted me his own Metal Gear jacket, which I wore at autograph sessions later. I believe it was because he thought we had good matches too. Many journalists and fans believe that the match may have been staged due to the highly climatic final and Fiasco's disregard of the idea of joining future tournaments. The match has been heavily criticized by fans as a poorly veiled marketing ploy to create more buzz for Street Fighter V. Owen S. Good of Polygon suggested the game may have been similar to an exhibition match in tennis, players of which being notorious for tanking sets to make sure the show goes the distance and the fans get their money's worth before playing the last set on the square. When asked by Kotaku if the match was staged, Alex very of Umehara's sponsor, Mad Catz, responded with, "No, sir, it was not. Daigo would never do such a thing." Other theories for why Umehara lost exist as well, such as he may have been suffering from the effect of jet lag or was not able to adapt to the mechanics of Street Fighter V during the match. So there you have it. A retelling of the tale between Daigo and Lupe Fiasco.
Yay.
You know, while we're talking about competitive gaming, oh my God, you guys, I know you guys don't watch professional League of Legends, but the NALCS, fucking exciting. Like a 4-way tie for third place, I think. 4 or 5-way tie, one of the two. I think they're playing, I think as we're recording, they are playing the tiebreaker matches right now. So, yeah, you guys, well, not you specifically, Cookie, but Scott, you play League enough where I think you would enjoy watching the finals that will be coming up in a couple weeks.
You should let me know and we can have a viewing party.
That we will not record because it would be very uninteresting.
Oh yeah, please. You don't want to hear my commentary on League. I wouldn't even listen to that, and I love the sound of my voice.
I've been playing Heroes Arena, guys.
Heroes of the Storm.
No, Heroes Arena. It's a mobile MOBA.
Is that one of the things I get ads on from YouTube? Where like there's a guy and a girl and they're getting super
more than
fucking
likely.
excited. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else we can talk about that's news related before we wrap this up?
Bread's done.
The bread's done?
I think that's Cookie's dinner.
I see. Were you making some soda bread? Perhaps some Guinness Irish soda bread?
No, I actually just made for dinner teriyaki pork tenderloins and rice.
Wait, then what about bread? What were you talking about there?
It's just a saying that's saying, "Yep, I'm done.
Okay.
Bye, guys."
Oh.
I get you.
All
All
right.
right. Well, if you have comments, questions, or concerns, you can write in at podcast@fancyramen.com.
Or you can leave us a like writing.
A like writing?
That would be a
You confuse me with your okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were gone. This is why we don't want Neil to edit it, because people miss out on these
weird things.
Complete off the tracks moments. Go ahead, Cookie.
Or you can leave a like rating on Apple Podcasts. So that way eventually we'll have enough ratings so I can start reading things off for people.
And if you don't want to write your own rating for us, here's a better idea. Tell a friend about our podcast. Get them to listen to it, and then have them write us a review. That way, you don't have to shoulder any of the burden of actually rating us. Or, biggest favor, you can do both and write us a review and tell a friend and force them to write a review because you had to, so why shouldn't they?
And with that said, that's a wrap for episode 60 of Fancy Ramen. I'm Neil.
And I'm Scott.
Cookie.
We'll see you later.
Have a good week, everybody.
I need to start a tally of the number of times I get compared to a robot because it's starting to make me uncomfortable.
If it makes you feel any better, Scott, there's a really good access port in the back of your head.
Is it my calm, collected tone or my very logos-based decision making? Like I want to know what it is that makes me go from just being like a pretty particular and reasonable person to this human is actually a robot. Maybe it's the fact that I have to charge my battery every night. But
Hey, so let's officially start episode 60, part 2 of Fancy Ramen. My name's still Neil.
I guess my name is Cookie?
Scott protocol booting.
Guys, it's good to
I don't
be
know
back.
if you were around for the joke, Neil.
It's okay.
Welcome back.
I will listen to it upon editing this episode to some degree.
And then cut it out.
Yep. So, guys, it's
Oh,
good
God,
to
am I
be back,
recording?
and it's good to have a computer that is not running at 90 degrees Celsius. So that's fantastic.
I think you just call it an oven at that point.
I'm. That's probably a better name
Like-
for it.
An air
When
fryer?
people hurl the insult at you, like, are you playing on a toaster? You can literally bring up the point that you'd be able to toast bread, although slowly, on your computer at the moment.
Well, yeah. So I actually tried to play some League while it was going. While it was going through this period of having a faulty heatsink, and it probably took about 10 minutes to load into a game, and everyone in the game then referenced, "Holy shit, that was like the longest load time we've ever had." And then I proceeded to have a constant 2 frames per second, and we lost in 5 minutes.
But no one knew it was you. So
Tiffany reminded me it was a 5-minute load or a 5-minute game time. I think everyone knows it's you or knew it was me because the loading screen has the
They can see your
percentage of loading.
percentage.
And so
Shh.
when it
Just
took
don't-
me,
just-
yeah.
They didn't know.
Anyways, how's it going, everyone? Cookie, do you have anything? Did anything happen this week?
I played some video games. A Way Out came out, and we were gonna do some streaming of that, I think. But
We might still. Let's not rule it out entirely.
okay, I'm always down for streaming it. Lizzie still hasn't played it. She's seen like 2 minutes worth of content. I played it for about an hour. Good shit so far.
Do you think?
And
Wait, how long is Ray gonna be in town for?
she's in town till next Sunday.
Does
Maybe
does she leave on Sunday?
Maybe I'm not sure.
Because
Honestly, I didn't even know she was coming into town.
Well, because if we both end up playing it with other people, we can just have the two of them play it.
Makes sense.
Do
Neil, you're gonna enjoy this game.
Will I? Is it because I
Well,
can do
as-
assholey things?
Very much so.
Great. I can't wait.
Very much so. For I took the opportunity to be like, it'd be a shame if someone did this, and we got to start over.
That's good. That is good.
But it's like the most unassuming things that you can do that'll make you start over, because this is clearly what the objective is, and this is clearly going against it. But just a split-second decision. If you turn left, everything goes to shit. If you turn right, game continues as normal. Be a shame if I turned left here. But yeah, it's a good game. I really like the way that they're incorporating the split screen aspect of it. Oh, were we supposed to be talking about our week?
I mean, if you don't have anything exciting to say, I think that it's perfectly fine for us to go into video games.
No, okay. Because, yeah, I didn't really do much this week. Life. Worked, played video games. That's about it. Hopefully next week's going to be more interesting because, the one movie comes out.
The one
So I'll
movie
definitely be
to
talking
rule
about
them
that.
all?
Yeah.
What movie?
Ready Player One.
I can't.
That movie about video games.
Yeah, okay. I can't tell whether or not I'm supposed to hate this game yet or not.
Movie or A Way Out?
Or a movie, sorry. Dyslexia kicking in.
Why would you want to hate it?
If it's cool to hate it, then I should probably hate it. Peer pressure and all.
Makes sense. I'm not sure. I'm 50-50 on with what the trailer's been versus like how good the actual book was.
Did you enjoy the book?
I did enjoy the book. Did you read the book?
I got, I would say maybe a quarter of the way through the book, and it just didn't really keep my attention that well.
Well, then, good thing that they're condensing it all into probably a 2-hour movie.
That is probably not going to be that great.
Maybe.
I mean, when I say that, I don't mean like that great as a movie. I mean, like, it's probably not going to be the most accurate representation of the book because it's only a 2-hour movie, right? So.
No, it totally makes sense. And actually, after seeing some of what the characters look like in real life, I already know it's not a very accurate representation, but it's whatevs.
Yeah, there are too many
I'm still
good-looking
excited.
characters in Harry Potter, speaking of which, for it to be accurate to the book's description.
I wouldn't know because no one could get past the first chapter of the first book. The Dursleys.
Dursley this, Dursley that. All right, we've gotten through our Harry Potter slam of the week. Scott, what have you been up to this week?
This week, I haven't done anything exciting or interesting whatsoever that's not gaming related. Open and shut case right there.
Great. And I
Yep,
worked 80 hours roughly, or just about. So I haven't really done much. Oh, I guess I can say
You got a new computer.
well, not a new computer. I just swapped
He
out
just
the heat
started
sink.
cooling his computer efficiently.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I don't even know why I said efficiently. He's just started cooling his computer. That's
So I don't know
that's
if it's,
already a big step.
I don't know if it's normal, but I'm just going to have the fan set to full speed all the time. Because why?
Yeah,
why
I don't
not?
see why you wouldn't. Use the power and keep it as chill as you can.
Yeah.
My fan's on full speed all the time.
It seems like, I don't know. I did have a little bit of a scare because it was running kind of strangely last night, and like it was having a hard time multitasking, but it seems to be doing okay now. And to kind of elaborate on your quick assumption, though, if I have any additional problems with it, I'll probably take it into a shop to have it repaired, or have them look at it, and in the meantime, also just pick up another PC.
It's probably a safe bet. They'll
It-
probably be like, oh God, what the hell is this? And just toss it out for you anyway.
It's like your
Replace-
CPU, your chip is black, and I'm like, what's wrong with having an African American chip? And then they'll be like, no, we mean it's charred. I'll be like, oh,
We mean it started off silver, and now it is black.
I mean, race discrimination on CPU components, but whatever. No, but like I have a feeling maybe this has been something I should have done for a while, and it's something I've wanted to do just to have a PC that I can constantly have rendering or doing things, and then another one to actually have to enjoy and play games on, instead of having to wait 3 hours for a video to render or a set of videos.
So which one's going to be your constant need to reboot machine, and which one's going to be the enjoyment machine?
The new PC would probably be the entertainment system at that point, and this one, it would be the render machine. And then,
Fair enough. It's built like a server.
yeah, and at that point, I could just have it disconnected from the internet and have it maintain like a constant like singular point. So, video games though, Cookie, since you had already started, what have you been playing?
So been playing a lot of Call of Duty. We've got the Devil Joe and Monster Hunter. I have yet to hunt him, but I am getting further in the story, and also been playing a little bit of A Way Out because Neil said, "Don't play that. We're gonna record it," and I was like, "Sweet." And then my brother was like, "Hey, you remember that game A Way Out? I ended up buying it. We should play it." And I was like, "Well, I guess I have it too. So fuck it. Let's go." And the shenanigans started. The game plays quite nicely. The the idea and concept behind one person's in a cutscene and the other person has to do something is wonderful. We ran into one glitch where I couldn't actually do the thing I needed to do very well, but I still had enough freedom of movement to actually kind of do what needed to be done in order for us not to get, killed. I say killed, but I guess restarted. But so little glitches here and there, but besides that, the game's concept is quite fun. It's got a, I'll just do a little bit spoilery, quick time event type fighting. And the way it swaps out between the two characters is just spectacular.
I assume it's very fluid.
Oh, it's like you load in the initial chapter and that's it. Sometimes you'll get this little thing at the bottom of the screen that's like the little Wi-Fi signal towers that'll like kind of, it might like shudder a little bit, but then it'll go away. So that means you guys are completely in sync. And my brother was using he was listening to the game audio through his TV, so I could hear it through our mic, through his mic. And it was pretty much in sync the entire time. Like, I think there was about a millisecond-ish of delay in the audio.
Oh, there's no way you'd be able to determine the millisecond of delay.
Well, 6 frames of delay in audio. Feel better? Feel better now?
Yeah, sorry.
Either way.
That was my audio nerd coming out. We're usually not able to discern the difference until it's about 14 to 15 milliseconds.
Yeah, we can go with that.
But still,
Either way, it was
that's
slightly
pretty
behind.
impressive. Very
It was
impressive.
just like, when you get that, that echo effect when two things are playing, but you think they should be in sync, and they're just like a little bit off? That's where it was.
Okay, yeah.
But still going at like the same clip. So it was just like a constant. But no, it's fun. If anyone's got friends they want to play with, they want to play that game with, only one person has to buy it. And it turns out, if you invite somebody, Neil, they get a trial version of the game, and you can't play that game on the trial version by yourself.
Yeah,
So in
that's
order
what
for you to play
I
it
just
with
read
Tiff, you would have
too.
to-
So I'll buy
Yeah.
myself a copy as well.
Ooh, do you need PlayStation Plus to play with somebody? Because otherwise, me and Scott can play.
Wait, Scott doesn't have
Just one-
PlayStation Plus yet?
No, I keep promising and then like putting it back the same way that we do like
League of
congressional
Legends.
budgets and allocations these days. I'm
I
like,
mean-
yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
We'll fucking deal with those dreamers in a bit. It's not
Yeah,
like they
except
need to live
Cookie's
lives.
really the only harmed party by this.
Yeah, and I'm pretty unharmed by
Which,
it.
is also the perfect simile to America as well. Only the minority is harmed, so we're perfectly fine.
Oh, uncomfortable parallels, but unfortunately factually accurate. Sorry, Cookie. Someday, I promise.
Meh. Just like every other white person, it's okay.
I found out that I do have now my current internet package is now at 300 megabytes per second for download speeds.
Are you sure that's megabytes or megabits?
Sorry, megabits per second. Right? That's Mbps, megabits per second.
It depends on if the
depends
B is
on if
uppercase
the-
or lowercase.
Yeah.
It I believe is lowercase, which means bit, because uppercase is byte, right?
Correct.
There are 8 bits in a byte. Okay.
Still, that's
Yeah, it's all
37.5
coming
megabytes
back
per
to me.
second. That's not bad.
Yeah. Pretty good. So that's nice. I haven't played League since then, so I'm excited to try that out, see if I have any latency issues with my connection.
I'm glad you updated speeds.
Yeah, it is really nice. It'll be good for all of our online gaming in general.
I'm
And
running a cool 72.
someday I'll get that PlayStation Plus account. I just need to stop getting good computer games that keep me away from the PlayStation.
It's okay. One of these days we'll be able to hunt a monster together. Until then,
Cookie, before I
Yeah,
make this
I
seamless
haven't-
transition, have you played any other games?
I finally got to play that Kirby demo.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
It's alright. I don't mind that. I'm not gonna buy it, but only reason I'm not gonna buy it is because I'm trying not to buy like every other game known to man.
Right, and then get halfway through each one. I understand the difficulty there.
But no, yeah, I enjoyed the demo a lot, and the friending system. I would like to try it out with like more than just me playing by myself to see how disruptive life can really get.
I assume the demo should let you use more than just one player controls. Did you
Try and
just
hand a
didn't?
controller to my wife? No, I did not.
Okay, I was gonna ask, were you just like, Lizzie, I'm playing this demo. You can watch. Or if you actually tried it and were limited.
No, I was like, Lizzie, I love you, and then went into a corner and played the demo.
What are you doing, Cookie? Nothing.
Just jacking. Shut up. And I have not played Oxenfree, but I did turn it on today.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm glad I was able to motivate you to do that because I played Oxenfree while I was downloading Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. So for the 20 minutes I played Oxenfree, I was like, wow, this is awesome. I really love it. And then I started playing Ni no Kuni 2 and I haven't looked back.
Sweet. Sounds like a good transition into what Scott been playing this week.
Yeah, it is. I was waiting for Neil to capitalize on it, but I'll just keep running. With
No,
it.
my transition, my segue died when Cookie had more games to talk about.
You're like, oh shit, he's got more to say.
That's what happens when you give a voice to the disenfranchised.
Yeah, they actually want to use it. Well, why? Cookie, Neil, both of you have played JRPGs before. I am actually even going to guess. I mean, I already know for Neil's case, it's yes, you've definitely played more than I have. Cookie, I feel like you might have, but there's no guarantee to that.
Does oh god, what's that JRPG about the blue dragon?
Blue Dragon?
What?
You're talking about Blue Dragon, right?
Is that the actual name?
I wasn't sure if you were doing a bit or not. Yes, it's called Blue Dragon.
I beat that.
Is that a Japanese RPG?
It is. It's I remember it being on the Xbox 360. I don't know if it was on anything else. This game was a 2-disc game, I think, at least.
Blue Dragon? Yeah.
Might have been like 4 discs. I can't remember.
Man, I was like, you know that game about the blue dragon?
It's got that animation style that's similar to Chrono Trigger, that like Araki style of character design where they all look like Dragon Ball characters.
Or don't you mean Toriyama?
Toriyama? Oh, I'm sorry.
Shinigami Tensei?
Who's Araki? Why do I have Araki?
Araki is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And
that's JoJo, yeah.
Let me
that's
tell
so
you what.
Much fucking better.
Any game would be better with Araki's character designs.
Exactly. Sorry, Toriyama. It's okay. I got it mixed up because it's Akira Toriyama. That's why. Anyway, it's got the Chrono Trigger Dragon Ball style Toriyama animation to it, and I remember that game being somewhat fun but a little weird. If you like that game, I think Ni no Kuni 2 is going to be especially enjoyable to you, because Ni no Kuni 2 is like one of the best JRPGs I've ever played, and I've only put like 5 hours into it at this point because it only released this weekend. So, and I also gave up time to play to introduce my sister to it, who also, like, after 2 hours, while her and her husband were visiting us, were just like, we should leave and go buy that game, and I should go home and play it instead of hanging out with everybody. And I was like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted, is like affirmation that I was enjoying this game a bunch and it wasn't just me.
The exact thing I wanted, for you guys to get the hell out of here so I could play in peace.
So I can play. Yeah, get your own. No, I was happy to share. But I was also especially excited that she liked it as much as I did, because she's played a lot more JRPGs than I have. So she's got really like better overall exposure and opinion when it comes to that particular category of games. But it's great. It's got a active battle system that is really fun and super easy to use. You're able to like switch characters on the fly very easily. There's not only the usual like heavy and quick combos that you can do with attacks, but you also have a ranged attack for everybody, and you have mobility using the ranged attacks, which is really nice. So you can like dodge or move in the middle of using your mobility. You've got guarding and dodge rolling, so I'm Dark Souls tumbling all around the place while I play. And then the like quick access to use abilities and spells is super easy too. So all that's great in the combat. And to top it off, you get these higgledy-piggledies. They're little like elementals that you can activate contextually in the fight for different attacks and whatnot. And that's only one of the combat systems. There's another one that's like sort of a RTS top down. It's not really top down, like zoomed out overworld map army system that's pretty cool too. It reminds me of sort of like playing a Fire Emblem or Advance Wars style combat, but it's all obviously real time, and your strategy still uses like a weapons triangle, but you get to implement different like influence activities like double time movement speed or like focused attack using your leader, and you can like rotate and adjust how you have your I guess your grouped military units to it's hard to explain, but you essentially are like rotating them, so you're keeping your melee users at the front and then your ranged attackers at the back, and then focusing their attack on the like platoons of the other enemy that you want to defeat. So it's this weird like tactical overworld combat that's also very fun. But apart from that, it's great storytelling. I think I've already explained it a little bit, that it's kind of cheesy and maybe a little hackneyed for another Storytale game. You're essentially cast out of your kingdom after a coup, and you're trying to rebuild it. And you have your main character, Evan Pettywhisker something or other of Ding Dong Dell. The naming in this game is also great. Essentially try and regroup and start building an empire. And the only way to bring peace to the world is to take over the world and then make it peaceful. So civilization, conquest style. Oh, what were you going to say, Neil?
In 50 years, we'll all look back at Putin and realize just how great he was.
He was just trying to bring peace to the world. Yeah, it's kind of a weird narrative like that, where Evan's just like, okay, the only way to bring peace to the world is to unite everybody under one nation and then purge all the bad people. So
the bad people just happen to be non-cats.
There's that. They just happen to be gypsies. Yeah.
Jeez.
So it's pretty problematic in that storytelling, but otherwise it's heartwarming. It's very much a like very well animated and beautiful game, and because of the storyline and the voice acting, seems to be a lot like playing a Studio Ghibli film when you're not doing the combat elements of it, and I really enjoy that about it. Super colorful, and just really beautiful in all elements of design, whether it's a cutscene or just navigating the overworld or the more detailed like combat environments or sort of a dungeony or enclosed linear map sections. It is worth picking up. And I'll have more to say about it because I don't even think I've unlocked all of the mechanics to the game just yet. Once I get a little further in, I plan on playing a little bit more today. But I thought I'd give a rudimentary review of it so far.
Yeah, I watched some gameplay footage and immediately got like the desire to pick it up. So I don't know if it'll happen this week, but it'll happen shortly, or at some point. I wanted to ask, are you likely going to pick up Far Cry 5 when that comes out on Tuesday?
Probably not. I will get to Far Cry 5 at some point in time. Really, the decision for me was going to be between Ni no Kuni 2 and Far Cry. And actually looking at the trailers for Ni no Kuni, I wasn't super convinced that I was going to do that. But after reading a review or two that were pretty positive, I decided to give it a shot and was really happy with my choice. For Far Cry 5, I might wait for a drop in price before I pick it up. I can always wait to enjoy another first-person shooter game. It's not necessarily a genre that I ever get a real itch to play. So I'm going to be all right with waiting on that one for a little while. But I have heard all the people I know in Montana that play games are very excited to pick up Far Cry 5. And so I might hit them up and see what their thoughts and opinions are after it releases here in the next couple days.
This looks fun. This doesn't look bad. I've
It
been
is,
watching since you've been explaining Ni no Kuni. I've been watching gameplay of it.
Also, I think Neil had the question earlier before we started recording if it was essential to know anything about Ni no Kuni 1 or the other games, and I don't feel out of the loop whatsoever, and I don't know anything about the other Ni no Kuni games. So
yeah, some of the posts,
nice thing as well.
Some posts I've read seem to indicate that basically the game takes place enough time into the future that there's really no story connections. So everything you really hear is just stuff like, oh, I remember that thing being in Ni no Kuni 1. That's interesting. Or, oh, I remember that weird small reference. That's cool.
Gotcha.
Nothing essential to plot or gameplay.
This is the first game I've played in which you have more or less a Instagram that you can check. And it gives you yeah, I also didn't mention that. There's something called Leaf Book, and you get
oh, Christ,
a little smartphone or digital tablet or something. And I think it's going to come in handy later for giving narrative events that are happening outside of your immediate vicinity. And also hints to where treasures are located or other side quests and missions. It's actually pretty cool. It's super quick and it doesn't really interrupt a lot of the gameplay. I remember opening it up recently and there's a post from someone in a kingdom that I'm at, and they have a picture of my party from behind. They're like, I could have sworn I just saw King Evan. And then another post is I thought he died in a coup. And someone's maybe someone's impersonating him. And so you can just get kind of this flavor background information from it, which is cool. But there will also be things that are there's a guy who's obsessed with monsters, so he posts pictures of monsters and you get small information about it, which sometimes happens before you ever fight the monster. So it gives you valuable info on how you might want to tactically approach that fight, which is really cool. And so if I find anything that seems to be useful for gameplay, I like it in the app. And if I find anything that's just flavor information, I don't like it, but I read it anyway. So that was a really cool design element that was very unexpected and seems to fit weirdly in the universe of the game. And I will say that it has subverted expectations in a couple areas in the very beginning of the game on what is going on narratively. Where the character Roland comes from, his origins are super interesting because I was very confused when we started the game. And I'm excited for you guys to play it, to watch the opening cutscene and be like, what the fuck is this? I thought I was playing a fantasy game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it already.
Good. And Cookie, I'm sorry, you can't buy it. We're going to have you allocate your funds to Far Cry 5 because we're otherwise investing in this and we need a good diversity of buy-in.
I might end up picking up that game too. It seems like it's more Far Cry 4 than 3, and as a result, I'm starting to become a little more curious about it.
Your
But-
dog can't die. I did read that, and that's important information. If your dog decides to go ham, he's not just going to get like murked, and then you have to reload or restart a checkpoint. You just have to pat him on the belly and be like, "Good boy, shake those bullets off."
I will say though, I kind of want to get the Far Cry game just because I've never been to Montana, and this should be an accurate representation of what's happening around the corner from you, Scott.
Yeah,
Yes,
when
absolutely.
we visit Scott, we'll know what to look for and what to look out for.
Oh my gosh,
What guns are most effective?
a live from Montana episode would be so good for the podcast. You guys need to come on up.
But money.
Yeah,
Me and Lizzie are
I mean,
actually in the discussion right now of where we're going for this year's vacation, because we like to do 1 year abroad and 1 year, and by abroad like Mexico, and 1 year in country.
nice.
You're on the top 3 choices right now.
Ooh, all right.
It's Montana, Arizona, and our Vegas.
I'm not going to sell myself short, but visiting Arizona was a lot of fun for me. I did it for
Oh.
spring break a couple of years ago.
We
There's-
enjoyed Arizona. The
Yeah.
other times we've gone.
Have you been to? I did a bunch of their national parks when I was there, and I thought that those were all great. But there was also an outdoor adventure course that was super cool in Flagstaff. If you have not done anything of the sort, it would be along the lines of thrill seeking, like your indoor skydiving.
Ooh, I enjoy indoor skydiving and
Yeah.
thrill seeking.
Yeah,
Apparently,
I
as
will.
long as it's not a roller coaster.
This is, I guess, outside of the realm of the podcast at this point, but I will find you some information and share it your way.
Sweet, that's not getting cut from the podcast. Let's go. Yeah, I'll figure out what I'm buying in the future for gaming wise. You know, Kenu 2 actually does look really good. I just need to find a way to balance out life because things.
Yeah, I hear this game is also quite long. It'll probably take quite a bit of time to complete it. So I imagine I'm going to be investing a lot into it. This episode brought to you by the Department of Tourism for Arizona.
Sweet.
Have you guys
Oh,
seen the
question.
Department of Tourism for Oregon's latest commercial?
Not for Oregon, no.
It is literally a Studio Ghibli movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Well,
It's not white
figuratively,
supremacists
literally, I don't
taking
know.
over national land and then getting a slap on the wrist.
No, it's pretty fantastic. I'll have to link
Which
you guys
the-
to it later.
Good. The reason I bring that up is I don't know if we ever mentioned it before, but that's actually one of the inspirations for why Far Cry 5 is in the setting and theme that it is, was those guys who took over federal land in Oregon.
Right.
And maybe they weren't maybe, what did I made probably a broad statement there saying white supremacists. They just happen to be a bunch of white guys with guns taking over their rightful land as they believe. And we're probably more on that libertarian alt-right bent than maybe other ideologies.
Are libertarians closer to being alt-right than like what the original Republican was? Oh, original
think the
10 years ago
libertarian is-
Republican.
I think the Libertarian or Tea Party is primarily like as little government as possible. So in a sense, they almost have more in common with like the anarchist punks of the 90s than they do with other groups.
Except they don't like the gays.
Yeah, and the
I actually don't
anarchist
know if that's
punks
the
are
case.
probably for the gays, I think, in general. So that's probably a big defining feature. I don't know. What do we know about this stuff? We're just
Nothing. Yeah.
talking heads.
And I guess
Are
at
we
this,
even that much?
at
Can
this
you
point,
prove it?
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Can you prove
No,
we're
nothing.
not a computer simulation? This is actually somebody's senior thesis that they wrote, and they just let the program run every Sunday to speculate about games and other things going on in the world.
Oh my god, this Oregon commercial is awesome. I kind of want to go to Oregon.
Do-
Where's Oregon? Who's in Oregon?
Apparently a fucking Chinese dragon, for one thing. I can't
haven't
find the
gotten that
commercial
far,
now.
but
So.
yes, I'm excited.
Do so. Thank you.
I was about to say I'll link it in the show notes, but I can't actually link it in the show notes.
If you link
but there
it
is.
to Discord, then I'll put it on this. Oh yeah, only slightly exaggerated travel Oregon. Got any other games to discuss before we go to news, Scott?
No, I don't know enough about Oxenfree to actually say anything about it. Besides, if the soundtrack is any indicator that it's a good game, then it's a really good indicator that it's going to be a good game. I enjoyed it so much.
Do you think that would be a good game to record with Cookie?
Yeah, I think so. I think the only thing that you need to know going into Oxenfree, this is for Cookie or any other listener who wants to play it, is it doesn't seem, I was worried at first that if you selected a voice option that it actually interrupted another person's dialogue, but it seems like it actually inserts it into the conversation.
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it interrupts, yeah, which I only had it interrupt once, so I thought that maybe that was a fluke or it was supposed to happen that way. But then I got really cowardly about actually selecting an option, and I kept losing options because I was waiting for them to nearly fade before I selected them.
Which
so
is
I'm like
actually
a
really
silent
good.
Protagonist.
It's like you become aware.
You can play
of,
the game without talking.
You become extremely aware of like the troubles of like this teenage character that you kind of feel that by being hesitant to respond, you sometimes lose your chance to actually say something in real, like you do in real life. Like you lose the moment.
I did really like that. I only restarted once because I realized that was the best thing about it, is it was so close to mimicking how a real conversation would operate. Like sometimes you have the opportunity to speak up, but taking it it's not necessarily the choice that you would or want to make. Which
is even more impressive considering that this game was made by old Telltale developers or staffers or something, which like I would argue those cutscenes are extremely like they tell good stories, but the cutscenes are very unnatural.
Yeah.
Well, now, so do I just never boot up Oxenfree again until Neil's over?
Yeah, we could probably do it next week sometime, or maybe sometime this week. Depends on how busy we both are.
I say you ignore Neil and play with your brother.
Well, no. So you're gonna. I mean, yeah. I thought you were referring to A Way Out for that.
I was referring
I think he was referring to A Way Out.
Yeah.
Scott's fucking with you. His fucking with you program is running right now.
We need to shut down Scott and reset his BIOS.
This is twice now that you've made a reset joke that more or less insinuates killing someone. Is this going to be our controversial reset episode?
Is there an anime where they keep saying reset?
We just need to fix your heatsink.
Reset.
No, there's the reboot. There's the reboot anime though.
Or CG show.
Re-Life is Re-Life that?
Re-Life.
I feel like Re-Life is sort of a reset anime. Except he definitely dies.
No, you're thinking about ReZero.
Spoilers.
Oh
yeah, there are too many re-animes. This is really the issue that we need to get to.
Refate.
Wait, that we need to watch Remind.
That's one now too. Remind.
Yeah, it's a live action.
Remember.
Thing on Netflix.
Oh right,
a character has to go to Costco and update his membership before he loses his opportunity to shop there.
I do remember someone, I think it was you, Cookie, pointing me to this series called Remind. Yeah, I'm totally down to watch
to be
this.
Right up your alley.
Looks good.
Looks good.
Not
Fancy
good?
Ramen watch party? Fancy Ramen watch party? Fancy Ramen watch party?
Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Mm.
I just heard that, oh my god, how can this be so good when these characters aren't even moving? And then I was like, this seems like something Neil would watch. And I was like, this seems kind of interesting.
I see some reviews that are not too stellar about it. But then, I don't know. It seems very polarizing. So let's talk about the news so we can get through this podcast.
Wait, we're podcasting?
No.
Shit, was I supposed to be recording?
Whoops.
Fucking with you. Let's go.
Street Fighter. Guys, everything anyone's ever wanted. We have a Street Fighter TV series coming. The best part of all is that this is not the first Street Fighter video project, we'll say, or TV show.
Wait, are they continuing with Revelations or Resolutions or whatever what you call it was called?
I don't.
Sweet, they are.
Wait, it is continuing off of that?
At least this Ryu and Ken look like the same Ryu and Ken from Revelations.
Or do you mean Street Fighter
Destination.
Assassin's Fist? Which was a web series made in 2014. The thing is, I'm assuming that the images that we've seen so far from this particular news article on Polygon are that of the old project. And at this point, we only know that a new project is happening.
Resurrection, the one that came out last year.
Street Fighter Resurrection?
(2016). Sorry, 2 years ago. But either way, yeah, it was really good, actually.
And you're sure it's not Assassin's Fist? Regardless, I saw this on the docket. I don't know too much about it. It's a thing. Any other words before we talk about the next?
Wait, is this just Assassin's Fist?
It's not
that also
Assassin's
looks like the
Fist,
same people?
but that's all the images that you see in that article. Those are all from Assassin's Fist.
Okay, yeah, and Resurrection was a continuation off of Assassin's Fist.
Okay, things are making
think.
sense now.
Maybe. I don't remember seeing Akuma. Maybe. No, actually, yeah, I do. Ignore me. Hi, life.
Hey, guess
Street
what?
Fighter.
Guess what, Cookie? Your favorite game, PUBG, is getting a new map.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
They didn't. It's not my favorite game anymore. They didn't let me play the mobile version
Oh, why couldn't you play the mobile version?
because they were in beta, and I didn't get invited to the beta.
Oh man, another exclusionary policy.
Exactly.
Could be because you're.
Because they know I got.
They had enough people with glasses, Cookie.
Yep.
Could be because they know I actually paid for the full version of Fortnite.
You're on the blacklist. Oh,
Like, how
man.
dare you pump money into that company? They stole our idea.
And they're doing more with it. They do have a new 4 kilometer by 4 kilometer tropical map, and it looks like it has quite a bit more water involved in the maybe not central area, but I know that the other PUBG island with the 0 hours of PUBG I've played has mostly just a coast where a lot of the water is at, and not necessarily these like large channels that are visible on this island. But it looks like a pretty fun map with the amount of like diverse location they've got. A lot of rocky steps, some straw kind of hut villages, and a lot more water to kind of work with. So I imagine getting a boat is going to be very enticing in this particular game mode.
I could be mistaken, but the original PUBG map only has like one large mass and then one small mass as its islands. So this one
Right,
does
and-
offer more coastal or like more river, quote unquote, scenarios.
Water-based gameplay. Yeah.
And there are also
the other-
multiple bridges too.
The
for
other
that
one
matter.
is the other one's a desert, right? So much less water play there. This map,
Was the other one a desert?
Yeah, the second map.
isn't it? Yeah, the other one's a desert, or it's desert-like. It's arid,
Oh,
that's
okay.
for sure. And those two are
Okay,
also
so if-
8x8. So this one is about a quarter of the size of the previous two maps.
It is indeed.
Okay, yeah. I never played the other map. I thought we were talking about the desert map. But we're talking about the tropical island map. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm following. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So yeah,
Cool.
it definitely seems like it's going to be a much more action-packed game.
Yeah, I imagine same size of players for it, so there'll be probably a lot more skirmishes at the outset of the game.
Gotta play spicy, you know. In other news, Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon's creative director leaves Ubisoft, known also for their work in Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed, and it suggests he may be opening a new studio.
Yeah, so he had an interview with Game Informer recently, Dean Evans, and it sounds like he's leaving Ubisoft on good terms, but he wants to... well, it sounds like he's had a wild ride so far. In a quote, "I split with my wife, and then the project I was working on was canceled. All of this massive shit going on at the same time, and I started thinking, it's the best option for me to move to another foreign country," he told Game Informer. So he's thinking about starting his own studio that has a approach to making a little bit more innovative gameplay. He wanted to get out of that AAA business model. And what I found interesting about this is that his goals are to create games that are more virtual worlds based off of utilizing tools and systems for players to kind of develop their own games in silica. And so that's always cool. I enjoy those games that essentially empower the player with creativity. What's the most recent one? Dream? Dream is like that. And so it will be cool to see if he actually has any success with this.
Yay.
Other things to have occurred this week. The attempted Vivendi takeover of Ubisoft is now over for at least 5 years. Short version of it, Vivendi has agreed to sell off all of its shares of Ubisoft to various entities, most notably one being the owners of League of Legends. And there is an agreement with, oh gosh, I can't think of that company's name
and Fortnite.
now.
Riot and Epic Games under Tencent.
Yeah, Tencent. Tencent has agreed to only take this portion of sales. They will not purchase any more sales or try to increase their. Basically, they're not going to increase their presence within the company. And the other entity as part of this buy-in is actually an Ontario teachers pension fund, which I mean ultimately doesn't mean much in terms for Ubisoft, but I just thought it was cool to see a completely unrelated company purchasing shares of a video game company as like a viable way to invest money. No. Okay, you guys don't care about the video game industry. Fuck you.
Well, I like it.
Moving on though.
I can't afford Ubisoft.
So, according to some job listings at EA, a Star Wars open world game is in the works. And obviously, we're not going to see it from years out. But I kind of just wanted to take some time to speculate, like what would actually be a cool setting for this now that we have 3 generations worth of Star Wars content in world 3 generations.
And by the time this comes out, we'll have even more places to visit because we'll have Solo, a Star Wars film.
When does that release, Cookie?
Not soon enough, maybe. I'm not sure. But my thoughts on an open world game set in the Star Wars universe would just be Deep Space 69.
What? What is Deep Space? Excuse me. What's Deep Space 69?
Deep Space 69 is a cartoon that is about pretty much just a bard, a guy who drives a space bus and just has sex all the time. And it turns out it's based on the Star Wars universe.
With his koala friend?
With his koala friend. It's kind of wonderful. Like, he ends up sleeping with Leia when she just turns 18. And she goes to the dark side in this universe, though. It's fun times. But
Interesting.
But let's see. Star Wars open world game. When I first heard about this, my first thought was EA needs to make up its mind on what it wants its Star Wars games to be, because we almost had that really cool story narrative driven Star Wars game that'll never be. And we got the now actually revamped that Star Wars game that came out that no one wanted to play because it was terrible progression system.
Battlefront 2?
Yeah. Battlefront 2's been revamped to now be everything that you buy is just cosmetic now. So all the shit's unlocked. So poor those guys who paid all that money to unlock all the shit.
Yep.
They don't care. They wanted to throw away that money.
Yup. But I'm thinking an open world Star Wars game, we're just gonna get oh god. That one game that I was really excited for, that open world space game where it was procedurally generated. Actually, they're just gonna make Qatar. Knights of the Old Republic.
You're talking about No Man's Sky.
Yeah, that game.
I'm
Rest in peace.
I'm pretty curious. Like, I feel like the time zone that they put this game in determines a lot about what you'd probably be able to do within it. And maybe I'm like too assumptuous, but I think that an open world game kind of necessitates having a lot of different like mini games or different activities other than shooting people. I'm assuming
that makes sense.
Like the one thing I could get behind is if this game is basically a Han Solo game, except you're not Han Solo, but you're like a smuggler.
I'd be happy with this. Just a Grand Theft Auto Star Wars.
That doesn't sound too bad, actually. And our last bit of news for the day. You can get the Hitman level Sapienza for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Just a quick heads up, if you haven't played Hitman, go out, play it. It's pretty fun. And Sapienza is a pretty interesting level, too.
And if you have not played Hitman, I believe just downloading the Sapienza level on the PS4 version actually gets you the full game. But I could be wrong, because they definitely just gave away that Hitman game for free on PS4 a while ago. I've got it downloaded. I haven't played it yet.
Oh, I didn't realize they
Maybe
did that
that's
on
what it's
PlayStation Plus.
Mhm.
Shit, that's...
I don't think it was a PlayStation Plus. I think that was just like on PlayStation 4. They gave away the game for free.
Interesting. That's a pretty fucking fun game.
Yeah, it was like a few months after the game actually came out. They were just like, "Yeah, fuck it, it's free."
Interesting.
For a little bit. But I haven't had a chance to play it. I kind of want to. And after downloading the Sapienza level and actually seeing that, oh yeah, it's downloading the full game of Hitman. Cool. I think I'll actually play this.
Well, so
maybe I won't be buying Ni no Kuni.
So it's episodic, so you might download everything but not actually have it unlocked. But we'll touch on that maybe next week.
Possibly. Who knows? Until then, I'm Cookie.
I'm Neil.
And I'm Scott, powering down. Beer.
Wait, were we actually trying to end the episode?
Oh, and before we let you guys go, podcast at fancyramen.com if you have questions, comments, concerns, etc.
Do it, Scott. Do it. Scott, activate program end episode.
Beep. Also, try and leave us a like or review on Apple Podcasts, but most importantly, please go ahead and share our podcast with other people. It's the best way for us to get new listeners, and that also helps with those likes and those reviews.
All right, Scott, we can't pay for this much processing power. Please shut down again.